Do you ever feel like you're living, but not really moving forward? Every day is the same. Wake up, go to work, eat, check your phone, fall asleep, and the next morning, it's the same thing. Do you ever wonder, is this what life is all about? Am I really living, or just existing? I've had days like that. Days where I wake up feeling empty, like I'm just running around in circles on a treadmill. I work, I pay my bills, I stay busy, but deep down, I know I'm not really moving forward. And I think you've probably had that feeling too. Let me tell you a story. It's about a man you've probably heard of, Chris Gardner. Character in famous movie The Pursuit of Happiness. The Pursuit of Happiness. There was a time when he had no home to live in, no money to raise his children, and even had to sleep in public toilets. But he did not stop at that despair. He chose to move forward, chose to change, chose to persevere in his dream. And finally, he became a millionaire, an entrepreneur who inspired millions of people around the world. That story made me realize one thing. There are people who started much worse than us, but they chose to move forward instead of standing still. So why can't you? I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, if I keep living the same way I am now, where will I be in 5 years? Will you still be the same person, tired, repetitive, unchanged? Or will you look back and see yourself as grown, stronger, closer to your dreams? The difference between those two paths depends on the decision you make today. And that's why I made this video. I'm not here to give you a magic formula or to sugarcoat life. I'm here to remind you, you can change. You can start your journey of personal growth right now, right where you are. In this video, we'll walk you through the first steps to breaking the cycle of boredom, so you can not only survive, but truly live. I'll share with you the insights, principles, and specific actions that have changed my life, and can change yours. Are you ready to walk with me? If the answer is yes, then sit back, focus, and allow yourself to be open to what you're about to hear. Because who knows, this very moment might be the moment you remember forever, the moment you truly begin a new chapter in your life. Have you ever noticed that most of us have a dangerous habit: delay? We tend to say, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll exercise. Tomorrow I'll learn a new skill. Tomorrow I'll change a bad habit. And then, tomorrow never comes. The fact is, most people are living in a safe zone where they feel comfortable, without risk, without worry. But that comfort zone is like an invisible cage. It keeps you safe, but at the same time it also locks you in, preventing you from growing. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You become what you think about. If you think, I'll do it tomorrow, every day, you are training yourself to become a procrastinator, someone who lives in a state of stagnation." Think about it. When was the last time you did something that really scared you? Maybe it was the time you asked for a new job, spoke up in a meeting, or started a project you weren't sure would succeed. If it's been too long since you did something that made your heart beat faster, you're probably stuck in your comfort zone. Steve Jobs once said, "Remember that you are going to die. And remembering that I am going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking I have something to lose." That is, we only have a limited amount of time, so why waste it in procrastination? There is a truth I want you to face: if you don't change, in 5 years you will still be the same person you are today. You'll still be living in the same house, repeating the same old habits, still stuck in relationships that don't get you anywhere. And when you look back, you'll see that you've wasted the most precious 5 years of your life. I know it hurts to hear that, but it hurts enough to wake you up. I've been there. That year, I realized I kept saying, I'll start, but never actually did it. I thought, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough. But then one day, I asked myself, if I were to sit here 5 years from now and repeat my life as it is now, would I be able to accept it? The answer is or not, and that moment woke me up. I want to ask you the same thing. If you continue to live like you are now, where will you be in 5 years? Will you get closer to your dream? Or will you stay stuck in your procrastination habits? Be honest with yourself, because the answer to that question will determine how you live from today. And remember, you don't have to make a huge change right away. But you do have to start. Start with a small step, a simple but concrete change. Because by taking one step at a time, you're breaking free from the trap of procrastination. If you really want to develop yourself, you have to start from the roots, that is thinking. Because every action, every habit, every result in this life starts with the way you think. And there are 3 fundamental principles. The first 3 bricks you must lay down if you want to build a new life. First principle. Take 100% responsibility for your life. This sounds simple, but it's a step that few people actually take. We blame. We blame our circumstances, our parents, the economy, the government, even fate. But when you blame, you give control of your life to someone else. And that way, you remain a victim. I want you to think back to a recent moment when things didn't go your way. How did you react? Did you think, it's them, it's society, it's my bad luck? Or did you dare to ask yourself, what can I do to change this situation? That question is what turns you from a victim to a leader. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, we can't control what happens, but we can always control how we react, and that's the power of responsibility. When you take responsibility, you take back ownership, and when you take ownership, you can change. Second principle. Discipline is more important than inspiration. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. They think that to get started, they need inspiration, but inspiration is like a fickle guest. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's not. If you rely on your emotions, you'll never get very far. People who succeed don't do it because they're always inspired. They succeed because they have discipline. Look at professional athletes. Do you think they have the motivation to train every day? No. Some mornings they wake up and don't want to get out of bed. But they do it anyway. Because discipline doesn't care about how you feel. Discipline cares about what you need to do. I experienced this when I started writing. On the first day, I waited for inspiration. I thought that I could only create something good when I felt like writing. But the truth was that if I waited, I could go a month without writing anything. Until I made a discipline. I had to write at least 500 words every morning, regardless of whether inspiration struck or not. And that discipline changed everything. Third principle. Small daily progress is more powerful than short-term bursts. We live in a world that loves fast change. Everyone wants instant results. Lose 10 pounds in a week. Get rich overnight. Be successful in 30 days. But the truth is far from it. Lasting success doesn't come from explosive bursts. It comes from small, consistent steps. Imagine, if you improve just 1% every day, after a year you will be 100 times better than you are today. 0.37 times. It sounds small, but the power of accumulation is not to be underestimated. Like water drops, eventually penetrating the rock. Think about reading. If you wait until you're inspired to read a book, you'll probably never finish it. But if you read 10 pages a day, you'll have read more than 15 books in a year. And that will change the way you see the world. Blank. Underscore. Blank. These 3 principles, responsibility, discipline, and small progress every day, sound simple, but they are the foundation. Without them, all the tools, all the tips, all the courses will be useless. Ask yourself, are you truly taking responsibility for your life? Are you living with discipline? Or are you just waiting for inspiration to strike? And today, what small step have you taken to move you closer to your best self? The answer will determine your future. Because personal growth doesn't come from one magical moment. It comes from the choices you make every day. And you can start right now. You have the fundamental mindset. But if you just think, nothing will change. Life does not reward those who think. It rewards those who do. And to develop yourself, you need clear, specific steps, actions that can be started today. First principle in action. Set small, specific goals. One of the biggest mistakes we make is setting goals that are too vague. We say, I want to be healthier, I want to be rich, or I want to be happy. But how much weight does healthy mean? How much money does rich mean? What is happiness, specifically? If you don't define it, you'll never know if you've achieved it. Instead, start with small, clear goals. I will exercise for 15 minutes every day. I will save 10% of my monthly income. I will write down 5 things I am grateful for every evening. When you turn big dreams into small steps, you turn the impossible into the immediately doable. Ask yourself, what small goal can you choose today? so that in 30 days you can look back and see that you've come a significant distance? Blank. Underscore. Blank. Second principle. Build habits instead of following emotions. Here's a truth that many people don't want to admit. Emotions are fickle. You can't rely on inspiration to do something important. There will be days when you're tired, frustrated, and just don't feel like doing anything. If you wait until you're in a good mood, you'll probably never get started. Successful people understand this. They don't let emotions dictate their actions, but rather habit guide. Do you brush your teeth every morning? Yes, but not because you feel like brushing your teeth today. You do it because it's part of who you are. If you make exercising, reading, and learning a natural part of who you are, you'll no longer have to struggle mentally every day. I remember when I was trying to develop a writing habit. At first, I used to wait for inspiration. And you know what happened? Sometimes I would go weeks, even months without writing anything. But when I made a rule, write at least 500 words every morning. Good or bad, everything changed. I no longer waited for inspiration. I wrote because it was a habit, and the habit produced results. So ask yourself, what habits are shaping your life? Are they good habits, or are they dragging you down? Blank. Underscore. Blank. Third principle. Turn failure into a lesson, instead of an excuse to give up. This is a clear difference between successful people and quitters. Quitters see failure as an end. Successful people see failure as a lesson, as a stepping stone to go further. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, once said, "I haven't failed 1.000 times. I've just found 1.000 ways that won't work." It was because of that perspective that he was able to persevere to the end. Michael Jordan, basketball legend, also shared, "I have missed over 9.000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. I have been given the game-winning shot 26 times and missed it. I have failed over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." Or Oprah Winfrey, one of the most powerful women in the world, was fired from her first television job because she was deemed unfit for TV. But instead of giving up, she turned that pain into motivation to rise up, and eventually create a media empire. You see, failure doesn't kill you. It's how you react to failure that determines where you end up. Blank. Underscore. Blank. These three principles of action: small goals, sustainable habits, and lessons from failure sound simple, but they are the first steps to turning your thinking into real results. I want you to imagine this. If you choose a small goal today, commit to a new habit, and promise yourself not to be afraid of failure, then a year from now, you will be a completely different version of yourself. So the question for you now is, will you choose to start today? Or will you say, tomorrow, again? Because the difference between a successful person and someone who stays the same is action. And action always starts with a small step. Did you know, the hardest part of the journey of self-development is not the outward action, but the war within the mind? Because even if you have a clear plan and specific goals, if you can't control your emotions, everything will collapse in just a moment of weakness. Think about the last time you got angry. Maybe someone said something that offended you. You reacted immediately, saying things you later regretted. It only takes a few seconds of losing control to ruin a relationship, an opportunity, even a future. That shows a fact. If you don't control yourself, you will be controlled by others. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to us that makes us suffer, but how we think about it." And Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "No one can hurt you without your permission." Think about it. People can insult you, but if you don't accept their words, they will fall to the ground meaningless. Anger only burns when you fuel it. So how to control emotions? One of the simplest ways is create distance with immediate reaction. When someone makes you angry, instead of responding right away, pause, take a deep breath, count to 5 in your head. Those few seconds are enough to give your brain time to return to a rational state. Instead of letting your emotions take over. But controlling your emotions is only half the battle. The other half is forge perseverance. This world will test you. You will fail. You will be rejected. You will be laughed at. And if you are not determined enough, you will easily fall. Look at the big examples. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. He could have chosen to be bitter and hateful, but he chose to stand firm in his ideals, and eventually became a symbol of freedom. Or Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp, lost his family, lost everything, but he realized, no matter how terrible the situation, people still have the right to choose their attitude towards life. From suffering, he found meaning, and it was that meaning that helped him survive. You see, suffering can be hell, but it can also be the land for us to break out. A seed must crack in the dark to grow into a tree. A diamond must endure terrible pressure to form, and a person can only grow when he dares to overcome challenges. So the next time you face pain, don't ask, why me? Try asking, what is this pain trying to teach me? Who is it shaping me into? I want you to remember, your mental strength is your superpower. It not only keeps you going when life shakes you, but it also keeps you going when others have given up. Maybe you're going through a rough patch today. Maybe you're feeling betrayed, hurt, or downtrodden. But trust me, this moment is your opportunity to work on yourself, to become a stronger version of yourself. And when you get through it, you will look back and realize, all the suffering was not to destroy you, but to prepare you for a new strength. There is one truth that I want you to keep in mind. You don't have to wait until you're ready. Because the truth is, you'll never feel ready. There will always be reasons to put it off. I'm busy. I'm not good enough. It's not the right time. I'll start tomorrow. But you know what? That tomorrow will never come. All change, all growth, all turning points in life, all start with a thought. Single decision. Decide to do it now. Not tomorrow. Not when things are convenient. Not when you have extra time or extra money. But today, this very moment. Look at the people you admire. None of them started when they were ready. Edison wasn't ready when he failed 1,000 times to create the light bulb. Oprah wasn't ready when she got fired from her first job. Michael Jordan wasn't ready when he got cut from his high school football team. But they started, and that starting changed their entire lives. So the question for you is, do you dare to start today? Even if it's just a small action. Whether it's writing down a goal, getting up and doing some exercises, reading a page of a book, or saying a positive affirmation to yourself, whatever it is, as long as you start. Because the small actions you take today are the seeds for your big future. I want to challenge you. Try a challenge. 7 days of self-training. For the next 7 days, each day you choose one small thing to do for yourself. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier, going for a 15-minute walk, writing in your journal for 10 minutes, or turning off your phone for an hour to focus on something important. You'll see, in just one short week, a marked change in your mind and energy. And when you get through 7 days, you'll be more confident to enter 30 days, then a year, then a lifetime of discipline and empowerment. You don't have to be perfect from the start. You just have the courage to begin. And if what I've shared today resonates with you, let it be a real motivation. Don't just listen and forget about it. Take action, challenge yourself, and leave a comment with the first thing you're going to do after watching this video, because committing publicly will help you stay committed. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue our journey of personal growth together. Share this video with a friend, because it might be just what they need to wake up. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. We change together, we grow together, one step at a time. You can choose to stay still, or you can choose to start. The decision is yours, but trust me, your life deserves a new beginning. And that beginning, right now.